everyone! So in this video we're going to be talking about Bitcoin music and the latest updates in terms of that. Hey everyone, this is Barry from Music Tech Info. I hope you're doing well. So there's been a few announcements, not only just Trump. Oh, it's great watching the show from across the pond, honestly, it really is, but still. So we have a new protocol launched, and the idea has been inscribed, which I thought was a really good idea, on chain, this white paper, that's just genius, really. And it's been announced by Aud.io, which is one of the main browsers of Bitcoin Audionals, Bitcoin NFTs. So if I click on that, you'll see it's shown here. So the inscription number is like its unique identifier, so 308,945. So this is the BeatBlocks protocol. And to give a bit of a context, it's a protocol designed to enable artists to create, store and generate high quality, fully on-chain music on the Bitcoin network. Now that's something I've done personally as a musician myself, known as Cyber Monday. This one. In the blockchain, where you can read. So this is my full track inscribed on as an ordinal on the Bitcoin blockchain. And the issue with this, artists being able to do this, and I've described this on the previous video, is the file size. The more higher the file size, the more expensive it is, but there's limitations, like some tools only allow 400 kilobytes. So there's limitations with the quality, and also it's expensive to inscribe on Bitcoin. So this protocol seems to be a potential solution for that. So it explains, like what I've just done, traditional approaches to storing full-length audio directly on chain are limited by cost and size constraints, making it impractical to preserve entire tracks without sacrificing quality. And that's something that I had to do personally. I tried different versions of the track and found out the one that fits the best within my budget and is the best quality that I could do. BeatBlocks solves this by leveraging the natural repetitive structure of music itself. So artists break down their work into modular audio segments, which are known as stems. If you're a producer, you'll know that automatically. Each stored as a separate inscription, and then define generative arrangements that piece these stems together dynamically at playback time. Now, I've featured on this channel Octamed, which is one of the previous trackers on the Amiga that I used to use in the 90s. And it used to be great because you'd load the samples and then you'd program when you wanted those samples to trigger. And this seems to be a tool that will allow you to do that on chain. It may come in a different form. It may not be a tracker. It may be in a different visual element. But certainly the protocol will be great for musicians. This approach does more than just save cost and space. It opens up a dimension of music creativity. Just as an artist might compose a single, an album, a mixtape or an EP, they can now compose a generative piece, a flexible, ever-changing composition that can be considered part of their discography. Collectors and listeners will be able to interact with these generative works directly from the Bitcoin blockchain, preserving both the music and the creative logic behind it forever. So this is tailored for developers, providing innovative tools for integrating music and blockchain technology. For artists, unlocks new creative possibilities and preserves your work immutably on chain. And for collectors who can own unique, verifiable musical pieces with generative potential. So we've got 4 authors here. I know Skrilla on Twitter Spaces. Core concepts. So the whole point of this is about having 100% on-chain storage. So all the required data that's necessary for a song, such as the stems, the metadata and the playback script for playing the song, is fully inscribed on Bitcoin, which eliminates off-chain dependencies. So that's really important. 100% on-chain tool is going to be great. In terms of the stems and layers, the definition is short, loopable audio segments such as drum loops and bass lines. Modularity, because each stem is being inscribed separately, reduces the cost because you can just repeat that. You can repeat that bass drum throughout, and you're not paying more to have to put that on for a whole track. On-chain reference, playback scripts load stems by their on-chain ID and recursion, and even unique compression. Inscribing high-quality music is prohibitively, can't say it, expensive, so we can use specialized compression to keep stems at high quality whilst reducing costs. At playback, these compressed stems are automatically converted to a browser-friendly format. They use what's called a JSON file, describing how the stems actually fit together in terms of the lengths, the sections, which stems to play at once. Generative potential can be static, fixed, or include logic for unique playbacks each time. On-chain, no external servers needed, everything is inscribed. In terms of the playback script, the inscribed JavaScript will fetch and run the client side in the browser. It'll stitch it all together because it will read the JSON file, the stems, and schedules playback. And generative output can produce infinite variations from the same set of stems. So we've got a flowchart here to explain it. So the artist creates the stems, they're then inscribed, such as the drums, bass, vocal. The JSON file that's defined, where it will produce a randomized arrangement first of all, and then the inscribe JSON file is on the Bitcoin blockchain, including the playback script, which will be Java, and the end user plays the composition via fetching the stems and arrangement on the blockchain, and that will produce the full length song output generated from stems. So practical applications and advantages for this is ownership you can trust. So every component will be authentically verified. That doesn't happen really in Web 2, because anybody could just rip a song, couldn't they? Cost-effective quality. Storing loops rather than full tracks reduces fees, allowing for higher quality audio. As a producer myself, I recognise that there is a hell of a lot of repetition. I see it as doing a bit of a Sudoku puzzle when I do a track, because there's a lot of repetition. You're always using the same bass drum, you're using the same synth sound, you know, and that's one way that it can be a hell of a lot more cost effective. It'll encourage new forms of musical composition and experience because it's a new tool and it's creative. Musicians can release and trade on-chain music collections to visual generative art, and that's something I'm personally interested in because audio shouldn't really stop there. It should be about the visual element as well. Seamless integration. So musicians can export their stems from their preferred digital audio workstations or software and upload them directly rather than being restricted to browser-based music creation. New frontiers for music opens vast possibilities and remix freedom as well. Closing thoughts. So this will transform on-chain music by inscribing stems, arrangement data and playback script fully on Bitcoin, using compression to keep stems at high quality but reducing the costs. At playback, the stems will be converted into browser-friendly format, so it's not just a fixed track, but a generative musical experience that will evolve or produce unique renditions. Leap forward in both digital art ownership and creative expression, letting artists explore new possibilities in on-chain music creation. I think that is amazing. This is what producers on Bitcoin have been waiting for. I think this is really exciting. Really exciting. And I cannot wait to find out the visual element of this, how it will look, how easy it will be for musicians. Now, with any new protocols, the people who are early generally have the most challenge, but they can get the most reward because those are the ones who'll be producing music and they'll be the first in the queue. However, to do that, it may be quite a few challenges to overcome first of all. And that is generally the same with any new protocol that comes on the scene. So it's something to bear in mind, and I certainly can't wait to have a go at it when I've got some time. So there you go, that's the new protocol, BeatBlocks, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about that. Now, I was checking out a few X spaces yesterday, and there's Jim. If I can quickly find Jim on here, that would be quite useful. There we go. Jim.btc. Now, Jim.btc has a YouTube channel, so I want to shout that out. And it's the Audionals show, so it's focused around AI and Bitcoin music. So that's quite exciting. So make sure you check out the Audionals show if you are interested in that. And Jim is actually the creator of Audionals. which is a audio generator. Now you can go to audionals.com here, and this is a bit like a tracker in its own right. Now I've never made a song with it before, so I'm going to have a quick stab at it now just to see if we can understand a bit of the functionality. So we've got the play button here. Obviously there's nothing in the sequence at the moment. You can see you can load a sample. Now what that means, you can load any sample on the Bitcoin Audional. So if there's a bass drum on Bitcoin, you can use that. So you're not paying for samples for this project, this tool. You can use what's already been inscribed, or you can inscribe it yourself and as an Audional, and then you can use that sample to load your track onto here, and you can create new tracks on it. So you've got the play button here, you've got the stop button there, you've got the beats per minute, and you've got the save button, which will actually save into a JSON file for you to recall it later on. So if I click save, there it goes. Blank file's just shot up into the save. You can load as well. So if I click load, you can actually load from the JSON file, or you've got these templates that you can use. So if I just go onto basic drum kit right now, you can see what it's done. It's loaded these into the actual channels. I think there's 16 channels if I'm correct. Now I'm not saying that BeatBlocks will be similar to this, but Audionals is definitely one of the first sequencers on Bitcoin to be able to actually make music. So that's why I wanted to feature it on this channel, and that's what Jim has created. So if I click play now, and whenever you've got red, that's obviously when it's triggered. It's green half or something, I'm not even sure. I could be wrong there. You can change it from red, you can change it to green. There's yellow as well. Yellow are the sections, I believe. So if I just play that again. So that's a full 16 track drum beat. Really cool. And you can change that if you want to. You can find more samples. You can enter the ID or the Audional ID. So that's really cool that you can do that. Let's just check out another one, shall we? Glockenspiel notes. Here we are. Let's play this one. So there you go. Ow, my ears. But that is another example. Now this time what we've got on here, we've got, I think, potentially the same sample, but it's changed the pitch, and that's something that you're able to do. You can adjust the volume with the V button, the playback speed or the pitch with the P button. T is a trimmer, C is clear, so it'll clear the whole sequence. Could really do with an undo button now, I think. Mute or unmute, and solo as well. So the functionality here is really impressive. You've got looping for continuous play. You can choose the next sequence in the list. Just click on that. Yep, there's nothing in the next sequence. And if I go to load and have a look at something else. Now apologies if you're hearing a bit of an echo, that's because my mic's on at the same time as playing this. You can give it a project name, and you can copy and paste, which is pretty cool. Save and load. You got instructions in terms of how to do it. You can have pattern manipulation. So on the right, you can auto draw patterns, or you can pattern shift, which will shift the entire pattern from one step to the right. Just brilliant. I love this tool. It's just so cool. You can give it a project name, then you can obviously save it. You could have different versions if you wanted. But I just wanted to show you that in terms of some of the innovations that's been going on the Audionals blockchain. It's so cool, Bitcoin. The fact we're starting to get a lot more musicians now in terms of wanting to create Audionals and being interested in them. So it's great to see musicians in the space. So that's it for now, but I'm really excited about what's going to happen with BeatBlocks. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in subjects such as this, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.